Hello, fellow poker enthusiasts. I'm Joel Smith, your host for The Final Table, the show made by and for weekend warriors, home game heroes, and low-stakes grinders chasing that next big score without quitting their day jobs. Whether you're crushing the 1-2 live games, battling microstakes online, or just trying not to tilt after a bad beat in your buddy's home game, this is your spot. We keep it real. No pro-level GTO solver talk, unless it's simplified for us mortals. Just practical tips, funny stories, and inspiration from players like you who turned a small buy-in into something memorable. Let's get this started. Welcome, everyone, and please welcome our guest, Wayne Werner. He's a local grinder from the state of Minnesota, here to share stories of his personal poker journey. Thanks for joining us, and how you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing great, Joel.
Fantastic. Well, let's start this out by having you tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Perm, Minnesota, and I play in a lot of local bars, Vergus, Perm, Vining.
Tell us a bit about your family.
Yep, I'm married. I have 4 kids, just one's here, but I have 3 brothers. My mom's still on the dairy farm, and lots of cousins, nieces, nephews. Yep, large family.
Did you get started out playing cards with family, or how did you get started playing cards in general?
Definitely. Growing up on the farm, television wasn't a big thing, and we played a lot of cards for entertainment, smear, whist, and then just neighborhood poker parties. Even when I was in junior high, high school, we play nickel, dime, quarter, house games, 7-card stud. Not so much Hold'em, didn't really know what that was like back in the day, but in between, guts, low ball, high ball, Chicago, all kinds of different games like that, high-low splits. Yeah,
Do you have a preferred game or format, or?
usually the ones that I'm lucky at. Depends on the night.
I think you're pretty lucky at most from my view.
You got to have a lot of luck.
Yeah. What do you
My
do?
mom still beats me when I stop out at the farm, so yeah.
That's great. What do you do outside of poker for a living?
Well, I'm a school teacher during the school year, and I do a lot of concrete work as a side hustle.
Sounds like you got a busy schedule. How did you get started in Texas Hold'em?
A local guy used to have a Friday night game, and it was tournament style, limited buy-ins until after the third break, and I just kind of got into that. And looking back at it, it's like, boy, I didn't want to be a minute past 7 o'clock, because then you'd lose a couple $100 in chips. And now it's like, really? Yeah, because you rebuy and it really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. What was the moment you realized that you were hooked on Texas Hold'em?
I don't know. I think it's more of the more you play, the more people you get to know, and you develop friendships. And it's just, I don't know. It's like going to church on Sundays, just routine.
Let's talk about some of the poker tournament experience you have. Tell me about FPN.
Well, I think tonight's really a big one. I can't believe I made the final table, and we're not even dealing cards, Joel. What's up with that?
There you go.
No, it's interesting, the difference between like local bar games, Vegas. They used to have the state tournament, and online. It's just different beast. And I got really lucky on what a fall classic, and that was exciting. Took that down, but didn't really get a chance to get too nervous at the head table because it went rather quickly.
Okay. And just to fill in the audience on that fall classic that you won, that was the fall season championship free roll online for FPN. Wayne qualified for that and played against 192 other players and took it down and won a $5,000 poker package. And You did something pretty cool with that package. Tell us about that story.
I found FPN tournament in Slovakia, and I thought, hey, school
So
ends the end of May, and it it was started in June, so I was on school break. So I decided to fly out there and give it a go.
and that was that a WPT World Poker Tour event?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
UPT,
Yeah. So you
and
flew out to Slovakia?
yep, I flew out there, and we flew into Austria. We stayed at this really cool resort that was for the Olympian. It was an off year, and all the Olympians from Slovakia stayed there, but it's the off season, so they were renting it out. And the casino was, when we think of casinos, we think of big, huge, bright lights, this, that. But this is kind of like a steel building right outside of town, and it's fairly large, and they definitely play a different type of poker there. Very aggressive. I think I threw 2 bullets at it, and, oh, they wrecked me bad because 'cause they're aggressive. You had to have a hand to get in, or you just kept forfeiting your blinds. It was definitely a unique style of poker, very aggressive.
Was it a pretty big field, the tournament?
Uh, I believe so. I believe it is a couple hundred. But
Okay.
I didn't make it very far at
Okay.
all,
Yeah.
but it was fun. And then, I brought my best man with and, from my wedding, my brother-in-law, and his brother was in Budapest, so we spent a day driving down there and getting familiar with Hungary, and it was definitely a learning experience over there.
What was the coolest thing that you saw on that trip?
Goodness, probably some old castles that were on the river. Budapest was very cool. I always thought it was one city, but no. There's Buda on one side of the river and Pest on the other. And just the different cultures was very exciting. But humans are humans, and funny people are funny people wherever you go.
Mhm. Did you eat at any interesting restaurants or have some food that you normally wouldn't have around here?
A lot of, what do you call that ice cream stuff? Come on, help me out, Joel. It's not ice cream, but it's like ice
Uh,
cream. It's all over
Gelato or
Italy. Yeah,
gelato? Oh,
gelato. Oh, yeah, gelato
okay.
everywhere.
Oh,
And
really?
just the architect, you know, super old, turn
Mhm.
of the century buildings everywhere, and just old country.
What was it like navigating the travel part of it? Did people speak English for the most part, or
No, definitely not. I think I put on like 1,200 miles on the rental car, which was kind of entertaining. And I had I had Paul as my navigator, and it was pretty easy with your phone, and it took you everywhere. But I got confused on this. I kept seeing this road sign, Wiener, Wiener, this way, and I was in this. I just couldn't put it together until I found a local that spoke English, and I go, "What's up with this Wiener? Where is that like town? Here is Vienna." And
Oh,
I'm going, oh, it's just German for Vienna, and
hmm.
so, yeah, Vienna hot dogs, wieners, yeah, I put it all together, but it was definitely exciting, a lot of art everywhere, old castles, and yeah, very exciting.
That's a really cool trip. You've had success in some other FPN tournaments as well. Tell us about the nationals that you had a few years ago now, I guess.
Well, as you know, I went out with a bunch of local people, kinda entertaining whenever you get on, Fremont Street, it's a
Mhm.
good time. And the local guys were doing really well. I think Jordan Steen took it down, but I ran pretty deep. Cash made the cool featured table where they read your cards, and
Mhm.
hate to give out the secret, but I was running extremely low with the chips. I peeled them back, and I saw the Henning pre-flop nuts, and I said, "Ship it, ship it." It didn't work, and so it was exciting, but I did really well with the the bounty tournament that they had like the day or two before. And that was a lot of fun. I think it was the first bounty tournament I've ever played in, but I built a pretty good stack. And then as it progressed, a lot of short stacks. Just for some reason, I was waking up the cards when they were shoving their short stacks and got quite a few bounties. Couple, I don't know, $100 there, maybe up to $900 in bounty. So that was exciting.
Mhm. And just for everybody's knowledge, when Wayne's talking about the Henning preflop nuts, he's
Don't
referring
tell him,
to
Joe.
I can't tell him?
No, then
Oh,
everyone
alright.
would know.
Alright. Well, Henning is a small town near where we live, where we play some home games, and there's a particular hand that everybody seems to play when they get it. So,
You
I
don't
guess
need
I
to
can't
put that out on the World Wide Web, Joe.
I won't share it then. Alright.
But I think I've been to Vegas quite a few times with you and the gang, and
Yeah.
I'm sure people would relate to this. You get your spare change, and I got this really big jug, and then it's like pre-Vegas, you go to the local bank and they have that big chute and you dump it in and they sort it all and then you pull the golden ticket out and you go get cash. Every time I go to Vegas, I unload my change jar. I stop by the roulette table and put it all on red. So far, I'm 0 for 3. One of these years, it's going to happen, though.
It's gonna
So
happen.
I'm
You just gotta
looking
keep
forward
going.
that day. Yeah.
Yep. Have you talk about some of your, World Series of Poker trips that you've been on out there too? I know you played a few tournaments.
Yeah, first time I went out there, oh boy, get the rural boy to the strip, and what were we playing? Was there like 5, 6, 7,000 people in the flights? And there was 4 flights, and to make the Saturday. And for some reason, every time I had a pocket pair, I'd flop a set. So it wasn't hard to build a stack there. It was in 2 different locations to start because it was too large for just one poker room. And so I was like a block away. And then pretty soon it was lunch break. You're chipping up. And then pretty soon tables are busting. Pretty soon they combine them into one poker room, and then I'm up over 1,000,000 in chips, and for some reason, I don't know if it's luck of the draw or whatever, but every table that got busted was mine, so I had to pick
Mm.
up all my chips, and it was a pain, and sometimes you didn't even get them unstacked, and, so you kept just going later and later, and then
Mhm.
the money bubble burst, and that was, like, the first tournament that, I was ever in where you had, the dealers to stand up and wait and go hand for hand, so that was kinda exciting, and
Yeah.
it
So this tournament, I think that was a gladiator, right? It was a
correct.
$300
Yep.
gladiator. And this was your first World Series of Poker event?
Very
Very first?
first one. Yep.
Yeah. And what happens for those that haven't played an event that's got like a money bubble like this, a bigger one? They make all the dealers stand up when they get done dealing their hand, and once all the dealers are standing up on the remaining tables, then they'll start the next hand. And that's the process until they finally break the money bubble.
Correct, and then a lot of different strategies, like, you notice people at your table that were snap folding or snap calling, now they're scratching their nose, they're scratching their ear, they're killing the time. If that
Mhm.
was the sport of wrestling, you would get dinged for stalling, and yeah, but just different strategies, and then the way the structure worked, it was the money bubble, and then I think it was the top 10 or 12% made Saturday, and so that was after the money bubble, and I was just crushing it. I was chip leader at our table, and then I peeked down at my favorite hand, pocket fours, and I
Oh,
go,
you're
"I'm
gonna
in."
tell everybody your favorite hand?
Yep, yep,
Oh boy.
it's a dumb hand, and, but anyway, I raised it big, goes around the table, fold, 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 call, and he jammed all in. It's the only person on the table that coulda crunched me, He had like 800,000. I had like 1.2 million. And I go, I'm in Vegas. I'm calling. And so I called. He flips over ace jack. A flop comes, paired the board, turn, blank, river, paired the board again. I was
Mm,
counterfeited. He got an
oh,
ace. I was hurting with only like 400,000. But if I would have won that hand, I would have went into the Saturday tournament top 10 easy in chips. But
wow.
learning experience.
Mhm,
It was fun.
mhm.
And then I was an orphan boy because someone didn't qualify that day. So I was on my own in Vegas for the next 3 days when the rest of the group was trying to qualify. So I was down on Fremont and they had very similar structured tournaments and they were fun to play. They were like the little mini gladiator. And I met some good buddies there and I made an extremely deep run, but it was a different atmosphere because the beer lady would come around all the time and it was getting later and later and later. And I lost track. Didn't Not even worried about making the Saturday, and I small blind, big blind. I go, I'm just gonna steal his chips. I shove all in. He snap calls me, and I'm out. And a buddy I met, he goes, "Are you kidding me? You were one away from the bubble." And I
Oh,
going, "Huh?"
no.
I didn't even know, but yeah, it was fun time. I
Mhm.
think that's the night I stopped by the table and got in about 5, 6 o'clock when you guys were getting up, but a lot of fun. It's a fun
Yeah,
town. The Uber
I
drivers are amazing.
oh, yeah. Yeah, you seem to find a way to get to know those Uber drivers pretty well by the time a trip is over.
Oh, it's entertaining.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That one time I flew in, I was helping the ladies with their bags, and I forgot my laptop. You were with, weren't you, Joel?
Mhm,
And the Uber driver took me right back to airport, and I actually recovered it, which was pretty exciting.
mhm,
But Vegas is definitely a different beast. Locally, yeah, it seems like it's growing and growing, but because we're rural Minnesota, wintertime, we got a lot of snowbirds, not a lot of lake people. So but we still get a couple tables, maybe in one of the larger bars, 4 or 5 tables, but that
mhm.
balloons up quite a bit in the summertime when everyone's back enjoying the lakes and the snowbirds are back. So yeah, you got to bring your A game in the summer.
Yeah, definitely gets a little more challenging. And so that first experience was pretty epic, and it seems like you enjoyed it enough that you'd like to go back pretty regular now, right, to Vegas?
Oh gosh, yeah, without a
Yeah.
doubt. I'm getting pretty close to winding down my teaching career. So this January, I didn't go to Vegas because I just wanted to save my personal days. We only get 3 and do other things. But in the future, I don't see myself missing any.
Mhm,
Yeah, so it's exciting. Then we got a buddy that doesn't play the local bar scene, but he heads to Vegas and he plays the qualifiers, and so that's kind of a unique way to get in also,
mhm.
and
We're
we
already pl
usually do pretty well.
Yeah, and we're already planning a trip to Vegas for this summer for the World Series of Poker, the Gladiator event again. I think we've got 7 or 8 people already lined up that are gonna I'll head over there, I think it's the 2nd week in July.
Do I have to get strapped on the luggage rack again, or you think there'll be room inside the car, van, glove box? All right, good.
You're not gonna be left behind.
No, all right, good.
How does poker fit into your everyday life? Yeah, play pretty regularly?
Just the local bars, and then if I got nothing going on Sunday and I qualified for the weekly or monthly, those are always fun.
Mhm,
Especially the monthlies. They're a lot of fun. Um, but the longer you play, Joe, the more you don't understand the game. But
mhm,
you pick up on things like position, chip stack. Um, but I always grew up in a wrestling family, and it's kind of similar there with the individual competition and how you play heads up, how do you play short stack, how do you play with the big stack, how do you play with super aggressive person on your left, those are things that a couple years ago didn't even equate or go through your mind. It's like, okay, give me the cards, let's see how we do. When can you tell if Joe Smith is making a move and bluffing you with a 2-3? Or, it's just interesting.
I must have misread my cards if I tried that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you did you just kinda pick up on that stuff just through playing, or have you studied some at all or watched videos, or how, or is it just, being competitive in your younger days wrestling where you just recognize that you gotta be observant and adjust, or how'd you pick up on all that?
Does it look like I studied from a book, Joel? No, no.
Okay.
It's like human nature,
Mhm,
especially teaching for a long time. You can kind of look at a person and see if they're going to be super nice or if they're going to be one of those students that is going to challenge you and give you a run for your money, or if they really don't care. It's very similar on the poker table, too. Some people are timid, some are aggressive. It's just kind of human nature. Some
mhm,
are super greedy, some are really kind and will have the nuts, but only bet a little bit or not try to trap you. And so, to me personally, I think it relates in human nature and how you read people. Who's a nice person kind of dictates how they play or how competitive they are in anything.
yeah,
It depends on success too. Like we always have a saying in the wrestling world that iron sharpens iron. You can just equate that to poker around here with how many times local people won the national tournament. You know, every week we're playing. Like later tonight, we'll be in Dent, and the quality of play, and it would be different, which is kind of interesting when you think about it that way.
mhm, yeah, um, so what type of player is most challenging for you to play against?
I think the one person you know that will not fold an ace of any kind. And it's kinda like, gosh, don't be a ace on 4th Street or 5th Street, even if you got 2 pair or something, it's just like, oof. You kinda know what they have and you're scared of them hitting it
Mhm,
because depends on how hot and cold you run.
yeah. Do you see what's a common mistake you see other, I guess I'd consider us all amateurs, right? We all have jobs and aren't doing this professionally. What's a common mistake you see other amateurs player make that you really try to avoid?
Probably the one thing that I try to avoid is when you're deeper in the tournament, not completely shoving all in because you're going to get the same results if you go 4 or 5,000 compared to 10, 12,000 if you're late or whatever the chip size is or the blinds and but you kind of get like overly anxious like okay if I'm going to make a move at this and bluff them off I got to shove it all in when in reality you probably make a big bet, you're gonna get the same outcome. And
Yeah.
if you do call, you still got a chip in a chair.
Mhm. That's a
And
really good.
everyone has this story about a chip in a chair. Everyone's
Mhm.
been there.
Yeah. No, that's really good advice. Do you have any superstitions or rituals or lucky charms when you play?
Not so much. It's kind of nice to be comfortable. I think, Brett, who plays a lot of big tournaments, kind of gave you tips about okay, you don't know what the weather's gonna be like inside. Their AC might be super cold, it might be hot. Bring a backpack. You don't know when you're gonna have breaks, especially the long grind of playing I think like the Gladiator, that one day we played, 14 straight hours, and we
Mhm.
had a lunch break and a supper break, and that was it. And so that's kind of the grind of that, having snacks, being comfortable. I'm not really too into the sunglasses or putting the hood up and hiding. I'm sorry
Yeah,
about that.
that's all right.
But I like a cap just so I don't blind anyone with my bald spot and just things that you're comfortable with. And you can always take layers off. We're from Minnesota, dress in layers,
Yeah.
be comfortable, wear comfortable shoes. I knew this one person that it was like 105 in Vegas, and he took an Uber to the casino that was only 2 or 3 blocks away. I don't remember who that was again, but I think he was like a two-time national champ and cashed at the World Series main event a couple times. But
Mhm.
he didn't want the swamp to get into him. He wanted to be cool as a cucumber, I believe.
Yeah, you can pretty much guess who that person was, and I don't regret it for 1 minute. It was way
I
more
think he's
comfortable getting there.
I think he started some podcast or something that,
Mhm.
and if you're fortunate enough to be like myself to be on the final table, you know who I'm talking about. I think it says right there on the screen.
Yeah.
Right there. Can they see the split screen, Joel?
It'll depend on how I edit this. They might see it.
Okay. All right. But facial hair, I don't think that's intimidating, but Joel
Mm,
does. So
yeah,
don't let that get in your head if you're across the table from Joel.
I'm gonna try to use it on you this evening, so be ready.
See how I went in the attack mode? See,
Yep.
that's another thing, Joel. Like, I'm very good at getting people that tilt and getting under their skin because I can be kind of a jackwagon at times and poke people, but I haven't figured out how to use that to my advantage yet. But someday maybe I'll figure that out.
I
You're
think
kind
it's
of the kinder, gentler person.
I think it's because you're smooth as butter after you poke them a little bit and kinda smooth everything back over. I've seen that in action too.
Okay.
Yeah, you can work both sides of that game pretty well. So when you look back at your poker journey so far, what's the moment that you'd be most proud of?
Oh boy, I don't know. It's like life. You'd just try something new. Maybe
Mhm.
um and you really don't want to go like half in or something. You want to see how good you could become. Like if I had Joel Smith money, maybe I just moved to Vegas and I don't know if my wife would go with me, but that would be a fun profession if you had
Mhm.
unlimited funds.
So can you think of any, like, ridiculous bluffs you've attempted that you pulled off or any funny stories at the table that you've experienced?
Gosh, I think, well, every poker player would relate to this. Like, I think the best feeling in poker is when you got the stone cold nuts and no one can see it. Like if you limp in a big blind with like a 5-7 and you need a 6 on the river to hit your straight and someone has pocket sixes and they hit their 6 on the river and they're betting heavy into you and that's usually when your wife Nikki goes, "Oh," and she's got a terrible tail when she's got a straight flush or quads or something like that. You got to
Mhm.
work with her on that, Joel. Maybe
I'll do that.
one-on-one sessions and maybe 2 a days, like get up early in the morning a couple times and train her up on that. But everyone's been there when someone's trying to bluff you off a hand and you got a monster and
Mhm.
you're telling yourself, okay, just keep it calm. Don't look
Mhm.
like you're excited or anything. Just, oh, yeah. And everyone's been there.
Yeah. Yeah, are the veins on my neck pulsating with my pulse, right? That kinda stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or how big is my grin? But if you're a grumpy old man, you probably get away with that and they don't see it anyway.
Yeah. Do you think you've got a good poker face? Do you think you have any tells?
I'm sure I do, but I don't know. Does it really matter that much, you know? Sometimes it does. What kind of irritates me on a table is when someone's like taking their time and they're like staring you down and ask you ridiculous questions or this and that. And it's like, come on, really? Yeah, it's part of the game, part
Yeah.
of the banner,
I'm writing that
sportsmanship.
I'm writing that down, probably using that one tonight too.
Boy, boy. You know, when poker is really not a sport. If it was, you would go to every tournament and you wouldn't be getting a burger and fries, one revelation around the table because everyone knows Joel Smith is kind of the guru around this area and we watch and study him. But luck comes into play quite a bit. And in sports, if you're like an undefeated 18 time state champ, you're going to a tournament, everyone knows you're going to make it, you're going to win it, or maybe get upset and get second,
Mhm.
not be out like the tournament right away. It's kind of like even like baseball, the Yankees are going to be up there, but
Mhm.
not so much in poker. It's the ups and downs. And I know one guy we play with on a Wednesday night, he charts his winnings and losses throughout. How many years has he been doing that?
A long time. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a long time.
And, just to see how it averages out. But that's taking it serious.
Mhm.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure it's like the stock market, ups and downs. It's probably very similar. How do you feel? What kind of cards you're getting? What kind of breaks you're getting? Yeah,
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Very similar to the stock market, playing
Yeah.
poker.
Yeah. And you're not in control of everything, much like the stock
Exactly.
market, right?
Correct. But there's Warren Buffett's, there's Joel Smith's. Yeah.
I wish I was Warren Buffett. He does not wish he was me. At least I don't think so. So where do you see yourself in relation to poker in say 5 years or maybe even 10 years? Think you'll still be playing?
Oh gosh, yeah. Think of how many poker players that passed away in the last couple of years. You can play poker as long as you can see.
Hmm.
Even we played with blind people, poker
It's
forever.
it's it's available to everybody. I mean, there's people in wheelchairs that don't have use of their hands that have an assistant, and I see them at poker tournaments. It's just incredible. Um, yeah, and I think it's an outlet for anybody that probably was competitive in their younger life. It gives them an outlet to still remain competitive at something if they want to. I know that's what it appeals to me in this, plus the friendships that you make. I don't know, you feel the same way?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And harping back with teaching special ed kids, no one no one wants to be singled out and helped. So when I look at poker, there's 52 cards in a deck. For me, for Joel Smith, for Billy Bob we all are playing with 52 cards. Half are black, half are red. It's everyone's on the same playing field.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. What's one piece of advice you give to someone just starting out?
Don't expect to win every night.
Hmm.
On the flip side, don't expect to lose every night either, because you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn different sayings, meet different people, say, oh, I should have played this hand differently. You play it differently, you get the same results. Or you play it differently, you get different results. But it's fun. Like last night, whole table, one person said, just in case, and they put out their chips. Then pretty soon, everyone was just in case calling and limping. And yeah, so it's interesting.
It's
And
fun.
it's always a new game. You don't have the same game every day.
That's why we keep coming back.
Correct.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you'd like to bring up or talk about?
Good touch, bad touch? No, we don't need to
Okay.
bring that up, do we?
No.
No. All right. No, we're almost out of time, Joel. We got to get
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah. We've been talking for a bit here. Any shout outs you want to make to anybody?
I don't know. Everyone, the Henning gang, the Perham gang, the Dent gang, the Burgess gang. I don't know how many viewers you up to now,
I don't know. We get in the hundreds now per episode.
boy.
So yeah, it's pretty
There we go.
awesome. Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you, Wayne, for taking the time to join us today on the final table and sharing your poker stories along with some of the personal side of poker with the audience.
I think you crushed it, Joel.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
everyone, you bet. Well, everyone, if you enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to share, like, and subscribe so we can continue to share these interesting and fun stories with poker fans all over. Until next time, be kind to others and live just a little bit lucky. Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you.